A 2.5-year-old toddler had never spoken a single word. Not to her mom, not to her dad, not even to the doctors. She didn't speak to anyone. But then, one day, she stood in front of a cold metal cage, and those first magical words finally slipped out. But she didn't say these words to her family. She said them to a dog. Her first spoken words were to a loving canine friend. And that exact moment was caught on a security camera. This video has been watched millions of times now. But the real, incredible story actually starts right after that. Let's go back to the beginning. Laura was 2.5, and doctors had a specific name for her condition, selective mutism, with possible spectrum traits. But they all agreed on one thing. Laura understood absolutely everything. She was fully aware of what was happening around her, processing and feeling every single detail. She just wouldn't talk. Her parents spent years sitting in waiting rooms, desperately hoping she would speak. Specialists watched Laura closely while asking careful questions. They tried games, colorful flashcards, and gentle encouragement. Every new method started with a spark of hope, but always ended in silence. Eventually, they gave up, because clinging to hope that keeps echoing back empty is what hurts the most. Laura just couldn't speak. Then Laura started doing something really interesting. Page after page, she kept drawing the exact same dog. It was a large, dark-colored, heavy-set dog. It had a deep, calm gaze in the drawings. Her family had no idea where this came from, and they honestly didn't dare to ask. A few weeks later, Laura's daycare announced a short program called Shelter Dog Basics. It taught kids how to behave around rescue dogs. They learned to move slowly, avoid sudden noises, and let the dog approach first. Most kids just laughed their way through the exercises, but not Laura. When the instructor said, "Some shelter dogs shut down from too much noise," Laura completely froze. It was like she wasn't even breathing. When they were shown the right way to approach a cage door, she copied the posture perfectly. She was calm, patient, and totally in control. Her teacher watched her and made a mental note. This kid is acting like she's done this before. The day they walked into the Riverside Animal Shelter, the hallway was echoing with barking. The metal cages were literally rattling. Most of the kids crowded into the front row, pointing excitedly. But Laura just kept walking. She didn't look left or right. She didn't hesitate, and she didn't stop. She just kept going, almost like she already knew exactly where she was headed. Her teacher called her name, but Laura didn't even turn around. She didn't stop until she reached the very last cage at the end of the hall. Inside, a large, dark, heavy-set dog was sitting quietly, just watching. It wasn't barking, and it hadn't rushed the cage door like the others. It was just waiting, as if it knew someone was coming, but was in no rush to make sure. Laura stepped up to the bars. She reached out and whispered, "Come here." If you've listened to the story this far and haven't subscribed, you'll really hurt me. Everyone is shocked at the end of the story. Please subscribe and listen to the story until the end. Her teacher froze. For a second, she thought she was imagining things, but the dog didn't. It stood up, walked slowly to the door, and pressed its massive body against the bars. Laura reached her hands inside. The dog bowed its head and leaned into those tiny hands, without rushing, without any hesitation. The dog's eyes were completely locked onto Laura. Laura pet its head and hugged it. The teacher ended up recording that beautiful moment almost without realizing it. That evening, they showed the video to Laura's family. As her mom watched the screen, she broke down in tears. The voice they had been waiting years to hear was finally spoken in front of a metal cage, to a dog they didn't even know. Her dad didn't say a word at first. He just asked to play the video one more time. Both parents were so deeply moved, they cried and just hugged Laura. Hearing Laura's voice was an indescribable feeling. But after that day, Laura started acting strange, and her family got worried. They wondered if the dog had affected her. They honestly didn't know what to do or what to decide. But there was a massive question hanging over the family. What happens next? Bringing home such a large dog wasn't an easy decision. It was a large, strong dog from a shelter with an uncertain past, but its gentle nature with Laura was undeniable. They had a small house and a tiny toddler. Mom and Dad spent their nights talking, debating, sitting in silence, and then talking some more. Days went by. They just couldn't make a decision. As for Laura, she never asked about it. She still wasn't speaking enough to ask anyway. But something had definitely changed since they came back from the shelter. The drawings had stopped completely. She stopped eating and started losing weight. Sleeping at night became a struggle. When her mom walked into her room, Laura would just be staring at the wall, empty, quiet, and distant. It was like she had left a piece of herself at the shelter. She was so affected by the dog she spoke to for the very first time. She wanted her, and her name was Milka. And back at the shelter, Milka was waiting. Every morning, the dog would go to the same corner and just sit. She wouldn't bark, wouldn't run, and had completely stopped playing. She just stared out the cage door, patiently waiting. The shelter staff observed her quiet vigil, with one worker noting, "Milka stared at the door again today. It's as if she truly believed someone would return for her." Another staff member added, "She left half her food today, for the first time." A week later, Mom woke up and her mind was made up. She turned to Dad and just said,
We're going.
"We're going." When they returned to the shelter, Laura was leading the way. The second she hit the hallway, she started running. Her mom couldn't catch up, and she didn't try to stop her either. She stopped when she reached the cage, totally out of breath. Inside, Milka was already on her feet. The moment she saw Laura, she barked, a single, powerful bark that echoed through the whole hallway. Her tail was wagging like crazy. She couldn't stay still, and she rushed the bars. As soon as they opened the cage door, Milka bolted out and ran straight to Laura. That tiny 2.5-year-old body practically vanished next to that giant dog. And Laura laughed. It was a real, deep laugh that came from the bottom of her heart. Her mom had never heard that sound before in her life. Her dad stood in the back, just watching. He blinked back tears, watching Laura and Milka hug while both parents cried tears of joy. Milka couldn't stand still from the excitement. Laura was jumping up and down with pure joy. And then, the moment that shocked everyone, Laura spoke again. Mom and Dad looked at each other and shared a huge embrace. Because Laura looked at Milka and said, "Let's go home." While the shelter staff prepared the paperwork and the family signed the forms, Laura and Milka just kept hugging each other. The family was incredibly happy because Laura could finally speak. Even though everything seemed the same when they returned home, a great change had actually begun. Laura broke her years-long silence, first to her dog Milka and then to her family, with whispered words. Milka's patient and unpressured presence had finally made Laura feel ready. That day, it wasn't just a child who found her voice. It was a testament to how an unshakable bond of trust and love can blossom through pure acceptance and gentle connection. If you were in my place, would you bring the dog home? Share your thoughts in the comments.